Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to welcome the Foreign Secretary of India, Mrs. Nirupama Rao, to this session. I'll say a bit more about her in just a moment, but I wanted to say a word of thanks to several people. First of all, to Nate and to all the members of the Center for New American Security, including our chairman of the board, Richard Danzig, who is our leader and is here today, and you'll hear from him at the end of this program. This is a new think tank. It's a think tank that's trying to look ahead and position the United States to be the global citizen that it should be, and a country that can resolve problems on behalf of its own citizens, but also in league with our own allies and partners around the world as well. I'm privileged to be a board member working with Richard under his leadership, and as Nate said, we're starting a study of the future of the U.S. India relationship. A word about this study. Hillary Clinton said when she came to Greece, Secretary Hillary Clinton, this past summer, that Indian-American relations had progressed from 1.0 to 2.0 during the Bush administration, and she hoped that the Obama administration would work with the Manmohan Singh government, the Congress government, to define U.S. India 3.0. So we thought at the Center for New American Security that we would try to assist in that process by launching a study that will extend over the next 8 to 9 months to look at the future of the U.S.-India relationship. It's going to be led by Richard Fontaine, who is the new fellow for South Asian and Indian Affairs, among other things, at the Center for New American Security. It will be co-chaired by our former Deputy Secretary of State, Rich Armitage, and myself. We're going to assemble a panel of Americans who've invested a lot of time in India, and the mandate of this group will be to think through what U.S. India 3.0 should look like. What should be the private sector connections between the U.S. and India? What should be the government-to-government connections that take us into the future together as we confront the many challenges before us? And we're excited about this. We're launching it today at this conference, and we'll unveil our thoughts on it next autumn of this year of 2010. We know that there's been a tremendous transformation in this relationship over the last 10 to 15 years, led by President Clinton, President George W. Bush, and President Obama on the American side, led by the BJP and Congress governments in India. We know there's been an explosion of private sector trade and investment. We know that the U.S. Indian community has played a major role in the development of this relationship. We know that the two governments, especially through the Civil Nuclear Initiative, which was so important for this relationship, through the foreign policy cooperation of the two governments, we know we're at a new stage, but we also know that we now need to define in a much more specific and concrete way how India and the United States as global partners will confront the truly serious challenges of the future. How will we, as the two largest and greatest democracies in the world, sustain a future of peace in Asia? As we see China rise to power, we know that India and the United States and other countries will have to remain strong and have to remain forward-looking to maintain a peaceful balance of power in Asia. In this region, we know that the United States and India will have to cope with the problems of Pakistan and the problems of Afghanistan and the threat of terrorism, which is a common threat to both of our countries. And we know that globally, if we're to confront the very serious transnational challenges, climate change, trafficking of women and children, international crime and drug cartels, and pandemics, we have to work together as two great democracies to help the rest of the world on a global basis confront them. This is a very difficult mandate. It's one from which we cannot escape, and we must confront it together, and we will be stronger as countries if we can devise common solutions. And I would say, Richard, that's part of the mandate of what our group should be doing over the next 8 or 9 months under your very good leadership. And I just wanted to say those few words today about our project.